Not sure I remember how my introductions used to be. I think I used to say something like, "You're listening to Tosin Talks." And my name is Tosin and I talk, which is just a very interesting introduction. Not interesting is weird, if we're being honest, but I suppose if you've been here a while, you kind of already know that I'm a little weird. So, yeah, my name is Tosin and I talk. I think that next month, not that I think, next month would actually make it 2 years that I have had this podcast. Time flies. Is it 2 years? It is 2 years because I've done one birthday already in between. So yeah, it is 2 years and my God. I remember when I started the podcast and it was supposed to be bi-weekly episodes. Bi-weekly means once every 2 weeks because I think it's like, I don't know. But it was supposed to be that, and I remember calculating if I do one every 2 weeks and then there's 52 weeks in a year, so that's 26 episodes. And then, am I right? Yeah, 26 episodes, and then, so as at this 2-year anniversary, we should have 52 episodes. I think that's right. I'm not sure. I've become really, really bad at math. But that's what it was supposed to be. And to be very honest, I think I'm grateful. I'm grateful for even the opportunity to have been able to start something so beautiful, something that I possibly would not have ever done, just based on the kind of person I am, quote and unquote, and I don't know, things I'm more inclined to do. So I'm grateful that that's something I was able to start and continue. Let's not sound like this is my last episode ever. I think I'm just reflecting currently anyways. My last episode was February. So it means that this year I have not done episodes. I think this year I've done only 2 episodes in the whole 2025. Yay! And then I'm looking at Tosin Talks now and I have 29 episodes as opposed to what it would have been, which would be 52. So God is good. God is good. Alright. A part of me wants to talk a little about me not recording an episode since February, but another part of me doesn't. Mostly because I don't know what to say. The short form of it is that I did fall into the trap of wanting to make everything look better before I come on back, either to like Instagram or to podcasting. I wanted to like just be in control, have a bit more understanding of what life looked like and just be more used to the change I was experiencing before I come on here and say, "Oh, hi, my name is Tosin." But thank God for really, really good friends that like, I won't even say friend anymore, to be honest, family, because I think it to be such a blessing to be able to choose people that you can do life with. Yeah, so that's friend become family, and thank God for that, because to be honest, I don't think I probably wouldn't have come back. Genuinely, I think it had been swimming around in my head that I should just sit down, pick up a mic and just talk. But like, I just not been able to get to the point of saying, okay, this is what I want to talk about. Even till now, I'm not sure I've gotten to that point of saying, oh, I want to talk about this. So, first of all, I thank God. I thank God for my best friend. She's amazing. But then I think I'm also thinking to myself, I don't have things figured out. I don't have life figured out. I'm not used to the change that 2025 has come with. I'm not necessarily used to that, and it has come with like so many changes on different fronts. fronts. So I'm not used to that. But I also know that me sharing generally, whether it be on Instagram or in newsletters or in podcasting, it has always been about sharing the journey. Like, oh, this is life and this is how I do it with God. I think in my head and in my heart, that has always supposed to be the point. That, I mean, like, there are many people doing this. There are many people talking to people and helping and doing all of that. There are many people doing that. But there are people who will just generally relate with you more. It could be because, I mean, it could be because they know you, but it could just be because of like shared experiences. Yeah. I suppose that's me encouraging myself, that there are people that would listen to you simply because you're a little bit more familiar. The journey of life, the experiences is wavy, is stressful, is fun. It is fun. It is weird. It can be confusing, and just many of those things at times. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if I really like made a point. I think I do this thing where my brain is just like going through things, and I'm not really like settling on a particular point. And my best friend gives me so much trouble for it, my God. But the point of what I was trying to say is, I think I'm not going to necessarily say this is why I did not, record an episode. It could be laziness, it could be, change and blah blah blah. But I am deciding to just do it more because I probably would never really get to the point of saying, oh, everything looks nice now. Like, that's just how life is. Like, there's always something you're figuring out, always something that you're trying to get used to and things like that. It's just changes, it keeps on happening. It's constant. So that's my reason. I'm just going to, come back and just do what we do, just talk. Yeah. And it may be helpful, it may not be helpful, to be honest. I don't know. At this point, I'm leaning more towards being lifestyle, towards being just, this is what is going on in my head, and my head is like plenty. My head can be really full, and so like I'm dropping snippets of what goes on in my head here and there, and thank God, because God is always present in my head. But that's just what it is right now. And it is beautiful that this is something I do get to do. And I think that's why I'm grateful. Just looking back, oh, we've had this for 2 years. It is beautiful that I actually get to do this. I get to be consistent at something so amazing. Just coming, sitting and talking and actually having people listen. Yeah, just being a companion as you go about doing other things. Because I did I did just realize that, like, every time I'm listening to a podcast or I'm doing something, I am for some reason not able to sit still anymore. I mean, I can sit still, but like if I'm doing something like listening to something or someone, I have become a little restless and I always have to be doing something. I don't think it's necessarily a good thing, but that's currently where I am. So I'm assuming that there are other people like me as well that they listen to people like yap, but like they do other things with their hands, like you're cooking and you're listening to something just cause. So yeah, I think that was an introduction. But I am really grateful that I've had this for this long. Yeah, I am really grateful for that. It's not necessarily where I would have loved it to be, but based on just what is possible, yeah, I am really grateful. I am really grateful for that. It is nothing short of amazing. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I mean, I could just like sit down and yap and like nobody would listen, which would still be fine. No, it won't be fine because it will be weird. It won't be fine. But you guys make it fine. The fact that like you sit and like you go to Dosen Talks and you play it and you just like listen to me like talk for 20, 30, whatever minutes is amazing. It's beautiful. So thank you. Thank you so much. You've been doing this for 2 years. I'm sure you didn't even realize. So yeah, it's been a while, and I do really hope it only gets better. I mean, I would have to put in the work. So, to make it get better, I'm hoping I'm able to do that. I've been praying recently for zeal, just zeal to do more, not necessarily do more, to do generally, because I can be quite, I think I can be quite, I don't know the word to use that would be perfect, but just not necessarily driven. Yeah. So I've been asking God for zeal, just the drive to do the things that He would have me do, whatever that looks like. Sometimes it's not even glamorous. I'm getting used to the idea of that. Sometimes it's not glamorous. God's purpose doesn't always have to look like. I don't know what I was saying. What was I saying, my God? I don't remember. I should probably go back to listen to it, but I'm also a little lazy. I think I was talking about drive. So yeah, I hope I've made my point, like with regards to, putting in the work and drive. So I've been hoping and praying for that just there is more drive to do things, whatever purpose looks like to God. And I mean, it could look like anything generally. So I've just been praying for drive to do that more. So I'm hoping, really, really hoping that I can put in the work to just make this grow, whatever that would look like. I hope you guys stick around for that. Yeah, and I hope I stick around for it as well. Okay. I was listening to an interview. So I had been, just this past week is when I decided to come back and record an episode, but I had been thinking about what to say. It has been hard. I think just because it's been a while, so it's like, oh, what do I come and say and stuff. But I was watching an interview today, and it just occurred to me, oh, I should answer questions. So I mean, I think people do this thing where people used to do that. I mean, I'm sure they still do it, where they would put it on their stories and say, ask me a question and I'll answer it on the podcast. So I possibly could have done that, but I currently have a fear of rejection. I think I currently have a fear of rejection. I don't know if that's what it is, but I do realize as well that I have not necessarily been on Instagram that much, so it would be quite a big ask to expect people to actually ask me questions, and it's not like I necessarily have that much following, that kind of thing. So I thought to myself, I would just look for questions on the internet and ask myself the questions. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to answer a couple of questions just in remaining time I do have on here because I've yapped quite a lot. I can't believe it's quite some time. Let's start. What is something you're weirdly good at without having had formal training or much practice? I'm not sure. I think this question, the first answer that came to my mind would be writing. I don't know if I'm good at it. I'm one of those people that one of those writers, quote unquote, that will say, oh, I write, instead of saying they're a writer. It's just an interesting thing. It's a sense of, I think it's a sense of detaching yourself from it, so people don't realize how much of a big deal it is for you. Kind of. But it would be writing. I'm not sure if I would say I'm necessarily good at it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll probably say I'm a 6 or a 7 in the sense of being good at, but I did not have formal training, or I did have practice, if I'm being honest. In writing. I've been writing for a while. I've been writing since I was a child, actually. So yeah, I've had practice, but I've had no training. So I suppose this would be maybe something you call a talent. Possibly, I actually don't know. Or maybe it's just people that read a lot and people that are a bit more introspective. Okay, no, let's not go into that, because I mean, there are people that are introspective and everything that don't necessarily write. So I apologize. It could just be a talent. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, writing would be my answer. Next question. What's something you could talk about for hours but never get to, since no one ever asks? I still don't know how to pronounce asks. Asks. There was a time a couple of weeks ago I had a problem pronouncing 66. I pronounced it right. 66. This is so weird because I'm just like, well, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce asks, but what I'm trying to say is ASKS. So what's something that I can talk about for hours, but I never get to? I don't know. I don't know. I think that it would possibly be. Hey, let me just think about that for a bit. It would possibly be Christianity. Possibly, but I also don't know if that's the answer, to be honest. I think that my first answer would be just like humans and how the human brain works. I don't want to sound like too like philosophical, but I tend to be very I don't know how to put it. I tend to be like very deep, quote unquote, with just how your mind works and how people think, what makes you the way you are, what broke you, what makes your answer that, things like that. So I tend to ask questions in that way and just be interested in talking about things like that. Like I would I think the person that suffers for me the most is possibly my husband because I am the person that is always asking like why is your head working like that, or if you tell me this and I'm like, okay, but why? And just I'm always thinking about and trying to explain away why and how a person's mind or person's brain works the way it is. So maybe that's something I could talk about for a while. I don't think I necessarily have a world of knowledge about it, but if you do give me, if I do get into a conversation with you about something like that, I can ramble on. Maybe at some point in my life I'll possibly study, is it psychology? It's actually psychology, yeah, that's what it is. Just like I think that's what it is. I don't have a wealth of knowledge about it, so I might be wrong, but I tend to be very interested in how the person's mind works, especially if I know you, because it's just weird to analyze somebody you don't know. So yeah. What was the best gift you ever received? Good question. I don't know. I've received a couple. I've said I don't know a lot. But I have received a couple of really good gifts, mostly because they have had sentimental value. So it's hard to pick the best. But my top two would be, there was a time where my boyfriend at the time, he gave me he gave me a book. The book was titled Him, which was very interesting because like it was a poetry book, and I had been following the author for a while, and he was actually a US author and everything, and just it's not. Even if like I liked him and I was a student, we were both students. I wouldn't have gotten the book because he was US and everything, but the book had just come out. I think I can't even really remember, but he bought me that book and it was just amazing. I don't even know if I know where it is right now, but it was, at that time, it was a very, very, very thoughtful gift. And just also because it was like hard to get, that made it like even more, oh my god, you're so amazing. One of the things that won him brownie points so I can marry him. And then the other one would be a necklace that had when I was in uni as well, I used to call myself Abba's baby, and so my best friend got me a necklace that had the writing Abba's baby on it. And I think at the time that she gave me, it was, I don't know, I can't really remember what it was, but the gift was just so on point at that time. I think I must have been having a hard time or something, I don't really remember, but it was just so beautiful. I think I wore it like everywhere and every day just because. So yeah, those would possibly be the top two. Yeah, possibly. If you could be anywhere right now, where would you want to be? My first answer to that question would be heaven. Well, if we put that aside, anywhere. Right now, I actually don't know if there's anywhere else apart from, I'm currently in my home. So I don't know if there's anywhere else I would rather be. I could possibly go on a vacation with my husband. I won't go by myself, to be honest, but I could possibly go on a vacation. I don't know where to. Anywhere generally that is like, that has nice weather and a nice bed would be nice. Yeah, I thought about like Nigeria, but nah, not right now. um, yeah. So another question: did you think you would end up where you are now? Why or why not? That is a very interesting question. So, did I think I would end up where I am now? No. For one, I think when I was younger, I thought or I wanted to get married at 27. For context, I'm currently 23, or well, almost 24 in a couple of days. But I'm currently married, currently living in the UK, which is not something I ever thought I necessarily do per se. I mean, I knew mindlessly that I was going to do a master's. Mostly because like my dad had always said it. I don't think I ever really like thought about it myself till I don't know final year. But yeah, I don't think I know I did not think I was going to be where I am now. Also I've always growing up I've always thought I was going to like let me put context to it. Growing up I've always there are certain things I've always thought I would do. One was work a proper office 9 to 5 money job, like deal with money and things like that. I do that of some sort now. To be honest, it just doesn't look like what I thought it would look like. I also thought I was going to work on my career for a while and not necessarily get married early. I don't know if I ever really thought about the place I would be, to be honest. I don't think I ever had an idea of where that would be, so that would not be it. So I think those would be the two things. Maybe community. I think I've always also had an idea of what I wanted community to look like. So that would possibly be the three things. Would you rather spend an evening alone or out with your friends? It does depend, to be honest, on what I have done during the day. It does really depend on what I've done during the day. First of all, with my friends, like with my people, I will spend like time with them no matter what. It also really depends on where my brain is at. If I have possibly like had a long day at work, my idea of winding down would not necessarily be to spend an evening with people. Generally it would be to spend an evening alone. That is how I recharge or rest. So yeah, but if it's just like a normal day, that is, I mean, it's fine. Maybe like a Sunday, definitely, or a Saturday, definitely, or just maybe a chill day at work. Yeah, definitely. Also, like if it's an evening in our house, like if we host or something, I would take that as well, because sometimes for me it's just the fact that I do have to go outside can be stressful, can be mentally stressful. Like in my head I know when I get there I'm going to have a good time, but like just getting out in the first place is a lot. But yeah, I think that spending time with friends just it is always a good idea. The reason why I say so is because it pulls you out of the normal or the funk or whatever it is that your life currently looks like, and you get to laugh. You get to have conversations, you get to rest in just the joy that comes with companionship. And it just always makes everything better. Like it makes you feel like life is worth living. Just reminds you that you are loved, that like you have people have your back, and it's fine. Like no matter what boost you're receiving on the outside, when it comes to inside, when it comes to your family, which like I said, when you choose your friends, I do believe that as friends turn family. So you can rest in that family, rest in that love, and be like, oh, it's fine, like it's okay. I can run against a troop. Like no matter what is happening on the outside, I am gonna be okay. And I think that's what spending time with people that you love, that hold you up and build you, that's what it does for you. That's what I think. So as much as possible, I would say yes to an evening out with friends. An evening with friends. Let me not say evening out. An evening with friends as much as possible. Also, an evening out with friends as much as possible. I am trying. I'm getting better, to be honest. Yeah. I think that will be the end of the questions today. We are on generally the minutes mark that I would stop episodes at, if I do remember well. If you are listening to this episode and have listened up to this point, thank you. Thank you. You're amazing. And I said this before, but I am really grateful that this is something I get to do. This is something I get to do. I've been thinking about how there are many things that we do just generally. There are many things we would end up doing in life that is a privilege. It is a privilege. You get to love people. That's a privilege because you get to show them the love of Christ. You get to train children up. That is possibly the hugest privilege you would ever have. You get to what else? You get to reach people. You get to talk like this and make somebody laugh. Such a privilege. Such a privilege. Make somebody just encouraged. Also just a privilege. Make somebody realize that you're not alone. Oh my God, such a huge privilege. And so many things really that you do outside of yourself. It is a privilege, and so I'm grateful. I'm really grateful for this privilege. God is kind. I'm not I'm a stubborn child, that I know, but God is so kind, and so I am grateful for that. I think that's it. I'm going to end the episode now. It's very interesting because every time I do record a podcast episode, I feel better. I don't know if that's the word. I just feel like I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary, if it's better, I would say, but I know what I'm trying to say, Sha, but I'm not able to communicate it well. So we'll try again another time. All right. But thank you guys so much for being here. I'm hoping that we can go back to the bi-weekly. Is it bi-weekly or fortnightly? Let's use fortnightly because fortnightly is right. Yeah. Hopefully. So I hope we can go back to that fortnightly schedule of some sort. That's what I'm hoping, and I'm really trusting for grace and strength to do that. The next one will possibly actually be on the 2-year anniversary, which would also be my birthday. And so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about birthdays and stuff like that. I'll possibly try to record it as close to that day as possible, just so that I can actually get into how I feel about that and all of that. Yeah, it does a lot of that, but look forward to that. Okay, I'm just going to stop now. I hope that you guys are having a good year. I mean, it's the middle of the year and it gets kind of weird at this time. It's almost like you're in a limbo. At least I think I'm in a limbo, kind of. Not really. I don't know. I would explain that later, but I hope you're having a good year so far. And if you haven't, like if you are not having a good year, my God, English is so hard. But if you're not having a good year, I do hope that it gets better. That's what I hope. I hope it gets better. I hope the second half of the year, which has started with July, but there's still so many more months in the year. I hope it's better. I hope you experience so much of the goodness and just the hope that you had at the start of the year. I hope that comes back, and I hope that drives you to just do more, to live more, I don't know if there's such a thing as living more, but to not just exist, but to really, really live. May the Lord, who has committed himself so beautifully to you, may you continue to experience his love. May you continue to experience his goodness. May you continue to experience his presence like no other. And may the rest of the year be the best of the year for you. In Jesus' name, amen. Alright, bye guys.